Is up, guys? Welcome into Rover Sports. It is, in fact, Saturday, or actually, it is Friday. It's Friday on Rover Sports, and there are some bombshell stories coming out of Green Bay, Wisconsin today, and I want to get to those stories right now. So, yesterday, this Bleacher Report writer, Ty Dunn, wrote a really long and interesting write-up on Aaron Rodgers, on the dysfunction between Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy yesterday. And it was very interesting to read the story, hear about the reaction to the story, because it was a long dossier and it was recorded by Tyler Dunn, and I'd urge anybody to read it. Tyler Dunn, or Ty Dunn, is a guy that he lived in Green Bay for a while, and he was the writer for the Green Bay Packers for a very long time. And what Ty Dunn did is Ty went out, he interviewed lots of players, including Greg Jennings, including guys like Jermichael Finley, and what he ended up doing was he ended up getting reports about Aaron Rodgers and the relationship with Mike McCarthy. So let's start out with let's start out a little bit with what we found out about Aaron Rodgers. What we found out about Aaron Rodgers is that Aaron Rodgers last year was kind of a sociopathic teammate. Aaron Rodgers did not get along with his teammates at all last year or in the years prior. Aaron Rodgers basically was very hard to work with. With St. Brown, their new young rookie wide receivers, it was very hard for Jamon Moore, for Anquivious St. Brown, for those guys to get along with Rodgers, because he'd be telling them different routes than the coaching staff. And then, like a receiver, he'll tell him to run like a slant route when the route is supposed to be like a flag route. And the receiver will run the slant route that Aaron Rodgers tells him to improvise. And then when he gets back to the sideline, the assistant coach is like, "What the heck? That's not in the playbook. What were you doing?" And the other guy would be like, "Aaron Rodgers, told me to say it, told me to run this." The receivers are so afraid of Aaron Rodgers that they won't even go up to him for assistance or guidance. Aaron Rodgers is not a leader. Aaron Rodgers, supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history, he's extremely, extremely hard to get along with. Unless you're Jordy Nelson, who's a really talented professional wide receiver, or you're Greg Jennings, not even Donald Driver. But guys like Devontae Adams, guys like Greg Jennings, I'll just tell you, man, it's tough sledding dealing with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Greg Jennings went to go shake Brett Favre's hand. That he played with Brett Favre for a long time. Greg Jennings went to go shake Brett Favre's hand when the Packers were playing the Minnesota Vikings, because he's very tight with Brett Favre. And Aaron Rodgers, since he hates Favre and since he hates division rivals, he wouldn't even talk to Greg Jennings. Now his receivers, even after the game, they're even afraid to go shake hands with guys on the other team that they know, because Aaron Rodgers is so territorial. He is very thin-skinned. If you piss off Aaron Rodgers in one way, he doesn't forget anything. He's so smart that his intelligence almost leads to his psychopathic nature. Like with Mike McCarthy. When Mike McCarthy chose to select Alex Smith over Aaron Rodgers did not forget that, even though, San Francisco, even though Alex Smith was a better athlete than Aaron Rodgers, faster than Aaron Rodgers, more accurate than he was at Cal, Aaron Rodgers was picked after. And it wasn't just Mike McCarthy. A lot of teams passed on Aaron Rodgers, and Rodgers didn't forget that the entire time, and their relationship was like a Cold War. And Part of that can be blamed towards Mike McCarthy, but a big part of that can also be blamed to Rodgers. But actually, McCarthy, in fairness to him, he tried to get up all in Rodgers' face and tried to mend the relationship. And then there was a point where the relationship was on the point of no return. Now, Mike McCarthy in this story didn't come across great either. Mike McCarthy came across as kind of apathetic. He would literally miss team meetings to go get massages. He didn't acknowledge the defense at all. His offense never really adjusted. He was extremely stubborn, and it's a good thing that the Jets passed on Mike McCarthy because McCarthy looked like crap in this interview. But Aaron Rodgers, why would you ever want to play with a guy like Aaron Rodgers? This dude is so unlikable. I mean, this dude got Christmas presents from his family, and he wouldn't even open the Christmas presents. And then years later, he sent back the presents without even opening them. I mean, totally antisocial, crazy behavior from Aaron Rodgers that I can never imagine doing. And a lot of you out there could never imagine doing these sort of things. And I'm sure Aaron grew up. And I think that his parents, by all accounts, were not terrible people. And Jordan, his brother, does not have a relationship with Aaron. And with Aaron, it's just very hard to continue to be his friend because with Aaron Rodgers, you can't, if you screw up one time in the relationship, if you go out and even greet people on the other team, then Aaron Rodgers is going to remember that stored in his brain, and he's going to hold a grudge forever. He just seems so sensitive about such little things. And first of all, Greg Jennings, it's not like he was jersey swapping with Brett Favre. I mean, we talk about jersey swapping a lot after losses and how when your team loses and your teammate is jersey swapping, I could see how that can rub guys the wrong way because they just fought a battle and they hate the other team and the loss is still fresh in their minds and whatnot. But this is a totally different situation. So Aaron Rodgers, extremely difficult to get along with, literally changing the plays of Mike McCarthy and not listening to the coaching staff, completely opposite of what Brett Favre did with Mike Holmgren or with Paul Holmgren, and completely opposite to what Brett Favre did with Holmgren and with other coaches in Green Bay. So, boy, oh boy, Aaron Rodgers, very, very hard to like Aaron Rodgers. And I mean, I think the reason why a lot of people like Rodgers is because he's a talent, because sometimes he can kind of have that attitude. He definitely is motivated when he plays football. He definitely wants to kill people. In terms of he wants to bury people, and he plays kind of with that, that evilness to him, that villainous type of nature. And he does make magic things happen on a football field, but his personality totally coincides and actually conflicts the nature of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and the people of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And a lot of people like Aaron Rodgers because it's an outlet for them to insult Tom Brady. Everybody compares Aaron Rodgers to Tom Brady, and I feel like if you're jealous of Tom Brady or if you do not like Tom Brady, then I feel like a lot of people try to compare Aaron Rodgers and say, well, if Aaron Rodgers was with Bill Belichick, then Aaron Rodgers would be just as successful as Tom Brady. It's that argument. And yes, Aaron Rodgers can throw a football into tighter windows, but Aaron Rodgers is still just as reckless with the football as Brett Favre even was with the football. And that argument there, I mean, imagine Bill Belichick for all the harsh things that he said about Tom Brady, for all the insults that he yells out to Tom Brady. Brady doesn't even like Belichick, but those two still coincide and put winning over everything. The relationship that Tom Brady has with his receivers, Aaron Rodgers has never had with his receivers. So Aaron Rodgers doesn't really have a relationship with his receivers that much at all, especially Greg Jennings, Jermichael Finley. These are legends in Green Bay, and these were very productive, all elite level talent. And they couldn't stand coming to work with Aaron Rodgers. So for Matt LaFleur now, he hasn't even spoken to Matt LaFleur. good luck to Matt LaFleur, because Aaron Rodgers just seems incredibly difficult to work with. He seems really prickly, he seems really sensitive, and he seems like a guy that's extremely hard to work with, extremely stubborn, and it seems like it's hard to change his mind on many things and actually get his attention, because he believes he's the smartest guy in the room, and he's not willing to adapt his style. He's not willing to listen to other people and listen to other people's ideas. And when you're trying to collaborate and make a game plan, that's just so counterintuitive, and it's really a horrible way to progress. So real bombshells from Ty Dunn. It was absolutely a brilliant piece. He talked about how Aaron Rodgers would pretty much audible every third play. He talked about Mike McCarthy, how he'd get massages, and also how McCarthy didn't give a shit about defense. They talked about Ted Thompson a lot, and how Ted Thompson didn't get any talent in the free agent pool. So there were so many different avenues and assets that came out of that article that were just really interesting stuff. But it made Aaron Rodgers, all the thoughts that Colin Cowherd and others have about Aaron Rodgers, it really made him look like complete and total crap. And I wasn't a Rodgers. I mean, I like watching Rodgers on the field, but I think that his personality has hampered the Green Bay Packers. And we'll see if he can lead. We'll see if these young receivers can gel, and if this team could start winning games and be happier now that McCarthy is gone. Now you have a nice young coach, like a coach that's very nice, very adaptable. I thought that Green Bay made a good decision hiring Matt LaFleur. I think LaFleur's the best guy to command the respect of Rodgers, even though he's 39 years old. It's because LaFleur's personality is very low key. He's one of the nicest guys in all of football, and you're not dealing with a stubborn, like a Mike McCarthy sort of personality. Even in Adam Gase, I bet that Rodgers would butt heads with. So LaFleur's going to give a lot of freedom to Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers is special. He deserves that freedom. He's a great football player, but from a personality standpoint, there seems to be a lot of controversy around Aaron, and it seems like Aaron, from a personality standpoint, is not the easiest dude to get along with. It seems like he's one of the harder guys in the whole league to reckon with and to work with. So just an incredible piece by Ty Dunn. I really enjoyed everything about it. It showed the shortcomings of Mike McCarthy, not analyzing defense, their ownership, Ted Thompson being too cheap to go ahead and spend money to keep great free agent leaders in there, like B.J. Raji, a guy that I remember winning a championship, John Kuhn, who was a great fullback. The Packers just didn't spend any money to keep their own free agents in, and they never went out and got free agents, and that's why Brian Gutekunst is doing a nice job. I know he cut Jordy Nelson, but Jordy Nelson just retired. Gutekunst got Zadarius Smith. He got in some good players from he got Adrian Amos, pretty decent safety at a good value. So I think he's had a really nice offseason, and we'll have to see what Gutekunst can continue to do for the Green Bay Packers coming up this year. Other news to wrap up the day is that Josh Rosen is going to Cardinals offseason camp. If I were the Arizona Cardinals, unless you get a first round pick back for Josh Rosen, I would keep Josh Rosen, kind of like the Eagles kept Sam Bradford, because the Philadelphia Eagles kept Sam Bradford for a very long time, and then when Bridgewater got hurt, they were able to flip him because the Vikings were panicking about their season. And every year you see quarterbacks get hurt early in the year, and even when a team is successful like the Houston Texans were before Deshaun Watson got hurt a couple years ago, Josh Rosen can come in, and Josh Rosen can help bolster that team. So you could get a first or second for Josh Rosen if you just hold on to him. I also think that the quarterback competition that Rosen and Kyler Murray will have, it will help Kyler Murray, and also Josh Rosen, having been in the NFL for a year, I think that he can really help Cliff Kingsbury in terms of his knowledge of the game of football. I think that Josh Rosen, having played in the NFL a year, can tell Cliff Kingsbury what can go on. And Josh Rosen can help out Kyler Murray. Maybe Josh Rosen's too stubborn to help out Kyler Murray and help out a teammate. By all accounts, that absolutely is probably true. Rosen's going to be so pissed off that he's probably not going to, be a good teammate. He's probably not going to help out Kyler, but I challenge him to do it. And if you're the Cardinals, just hold on to Rosen, let Rosen shine in the preseason. There's no rush on moving this guy whatsoever. You don't move this guy for a second. You don't move him for a third-round pick. If you do, you're impatient. The locker room knows that it's a Kyler Murray and Josh Rosen quarterback competition. You need to be more mature. Even though the outsiders think that having Rosen and Kyler there for the whole offseason is a disaster, you can't be soft. You cannot be soft, and you can't just succumb to what everybody wants you to do. So I think that you should keep Josh Rosen for as long as you can and try to get as much trade value for him later on during the season if you don't get it in the draft. If you get a first-round value back for him, then you do the trade. Other college basketball news to wrap up the show, we have Buzz Williams. We have Buzz Williams going to Texas A&M, an incredible hire. He was sensational at Marquette. And for Virginia Tech, a historically bad basketball program, he made the tournament. He would win tournament games. He made the Sweet 16 this year. He is a really, really great basketball coach. Jimmy Butler went to Marquette. Darius Johnson-Odom, guys that really work hard. Buzz is a Texas guy, and I think that Buzz is maybe a top 8 coach in basketball. I mean, for what he did at Virginia Tech, that hire is an A+. And now you look at Scott Woodward. He happened to get Jimbo Fisher from Florida State to go to Texas A&M, and now we got Buzz Williams. So that was what a special hire that was for Texas A&M. And as much as I really don't like Jimbo Fisher, I think that Jimbo Fisher is a really, really good football coach. So Texas A&M athletics now, they're right up there with Nebraska in terms of having the best athletic department in the country. Scott Woodward's done an incredible job. And now new Vanderbilt athletic director, Malcolm Hill, I think his name is, he hires Jerry Stackhouse. And I'm pumped about this hire. I've loved Stackhouse's game for a long time. I watched him with the Detroit Pistons. This is a guy that knows the NBA, so he's going to be able to recruit NBA guys because he knows what the NBA is all about. He just came from the NBA, came from the Memphis Grizzlies staff. I'm really happy for Stackhouse, for Stacks, that he gets the job here. Of course, it's a huge risk. This guy's never coached collegiate basketball. This guy's only a head G League coach. I think he's an assistant coach, so it's not even like he's ever coached basketball. Who knows about his X's and O's? Who knows about his end of game, out of bounds situations? But this is a household name in the coaching industry at Vanderbilt, and it could definitely fail. I mean, because this is a guy who doesn't have a lot of experience at all. So it's not like you're getting a bookend here. But I look at Stackhouse, and I like the risk. I think Stackhouse, from all accounts, is a great guy. He's going to be able to recruit, and then it's up to him, X's and O's wise, to get this thing going together. But I think that this could potentially be a great hire. I love that they took the risk and made this decision. I even like Stackhouse better than the Kelvin Sampsons, better than guys that are just floating around, better than a lot of different guys that are floating around and guys that got fired. I knew Scott Scollings was a really bad coach at Vanderbilt before, so I'm glad that they didn't just get a retread Mark Fox-like hire that's so bland and boring. I'm really glad that Vanderbilt hired Stackhouse. I'm extremely excited, and we'll know within the first 2 years whether the hire will make itself work. And I even think Stackhouse's young, vibrant personality, I think he'll be able to get along with these players. So a lot of people are ruling this out like it's a terrible hire. I think that this is a pretty good hire. And again, you get your Rolodex, and if it doesn't work in 2 years, you go into your Rolodex and you find guys that are better. But this is I like this hire a lot for Vanderbilt University. I thought that Doug Gottlieb would have been a great basketball coach as well. So anyway, guys, it's been fun. The Aaron Rodgers story is crazy, how he doesn't get along with anybody in his life, how he'll flip out over the subtlest of things like greeting another teammate. He is just kind of that type A, really, really annoying, stingy personality to deal with, and that's why I'm more of a Brett Favre fan than an Aaron Rodgers type of guy. So it was a great story, great reporting by Ty Dunn on Aaron Rodgers. People like Aaron Rodgers because they want to say that he's better than Tom Brady. They want him to do well because they hate Tom Brady so much. Everything always goes back to the Patriots, and the Patriots have mind-effed everybody about Aaron Rodgers and about everything. So, all right, guys, I'm out. Thanks for listening today.